From Acapulco, Mexico, this is Anarchast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. I have a returning guest on, President Vit Jedlicka of Liberland. And we're actually here in the south of France in Côte d'Azur, about 20 minutes away from Monaco. We were just powwowing with a number of Bitcoin people and ICO people, and you're actually planning on doing an ICO. We'll get into that, but good to see you again.
It's great to see you, Jeff. It's always a great pleasure.
Yeah, and a lot's been going on with Liberland. A lot of people have a lot of questions. And you've been up to a lot. You just came back from Africa. I want to get into all that, but before we get into that, for those people out there who don't know about Liberland, I just want to let them know a little bit about it. It's a new country in the last about 2 years or so. Yep. That is rated between Serbia and Croatia. And it is essentially run under anarcho-capitalist type principles, and for that reason I completely support it. And I know a lot of people out there say, well, if you're an anarchist or anarcho-capitalist, you can't believe in countries. Well, it's a step at a time sort of a thing. This is, if we can sort of get like one country that's really runs under generally the type of voluntarist sort of ways, that can really show a lot to the world, and from there we can move on and hopefully eventually sort of get rid of the whole nation state eventually. But that's, like I said, a step-by-step process. So why don't you just briefly just sort of give a bit of background on Liberland yourself?
Well, we started 2.5 years ago. We started it on birthday of Thomas Jefferson. We really wanted to invoke the spirit of American Revolution, but go further. We're doing our best to use the latest technologies for our company registry, for our citizenship registry. We just made a deal with Propi, which is an American startup. So all our deals in terms of property, for example, will be done on blockchain. And we've got a great chance to get things right this time. It's a big challenge as well. A lot of people are talking about anarchy, about libertarianism, but not too many people are actually doing it.
Absolutely.
That's what is so exciting about Liberland. And it's been here. We just made a big step, basically making a deal with international deal with Somaliland government, which is 3.5 million people living there without any big issues for the last 25 years. And I came there, I made a deal with them, which means Liberland is basically now recognized by another country, which is, I think, a good step after 2.5 years of a lot of diplomacy, a lot of behind the doors talks. We are step by step making the country basically possible, and we are also getting allies. So what it means that when we struck a deal with Somaliland government, that we actually formed like a joint committee, we're going to basically share with them all the technology and of course a little bit of ideology. And I'm very keen on that, and there is lots of things going on. Yeah, you wouldn't believe we're fighting on so many fronts at the same time.
That's great, and it's sort of funny because one of the things that a lot of people say about anarchists is if you like anarchy so much, go to Somalia. Well, you basically did, and I don't know much about Somaliland, so that's a sort of an emerging sort of country as well?
Well, Somaliland is a completely separate country from Somalia.
Okay.
There is a big difference between the two countries. Somalia was colonized by Italians, and so basically there is a clan war going on. Somaliland was colonized by British, and it's again a completely separate country.
Okay.
Decent gentlemen, no big issues. It's actually one of the safest countries in Africa. Yet it is unrecognized, but that's the great thing about it, that we are also helping others on the international stage. We actually also made a deal with them that we will help each other to get recognized, and I believe we can be helpful because I've done so many meetings with other heads of states behind the door, and I know what is possible and what not now. But the sweet thing is also, people are seeking recognition, talking about recognition all the time, but it's actually not that important. The most important thing is that the things are working. So with them, Somaliland banking is working, business is growing. The same thing is happening to Liberland. Despite us being unrecognized, there are now companies. We've got a $100 million company recently being registered, and it's pretty exciting. They also are getting their bank accounts with this Liberland company. We've got technological giants moving in. So there's a lot is going to be following in next 2 or 3 months that will be really worth the news.
Yeah, that's great. And I know you have been working to get sort of recognition with other countries as well. I've been sort of involved in at least one of them, trying to help make some introductions and things like that. And as you point out, though, that's not necessarily the most important thing. The most important thing is just to get things up and running. And so where are things at with that in terms of Liberland and on the ground itself?
Well, we've got much better situation on ground. We actually were able to occupy it multiple times and spend there number of days in total, which is much better than in the early days of Liberland when everybody got arrested. For example, this night there were people sleeping in Liberland, nothing had happened to them. They also started a little bit of groundwork, so I got lots of pictures from that. So things are happening. We have to be taking it slow, step by step also, because we don't want actually to publicize it a lot, because that always comes with the let's say response from Croatian police force. But things are happening there. We've got now a couple of boats, 7 boats in total. We are getting a sauna and whirlpool in Liberland, so the winter will be much more enjoyable. And that's one of the things. And the institutions, yes, we've got now the company registry up and running. Our car registry is working. We've got a couple of cars going around, and we've got the ship registry also up and running. So, and we've got like 7 boats now under Liberland flag globally, and some of them are in Pacific, some of them are Mediterranean. It's a very exciting time.
That's great. Are all those things sort of on the website? So if people do want to register a boat, or if they want to start a company in Liberland, where would they find information on that?
The company is, for example, liberland.ltd.
Okay.
That's easy to get to. We are still in beta testing on all of these things, and we actually don't want thousands of people to sign up. So we have to be a little bit patient because we are learning our steps. But with our ICO in April, I would like to have everything basically properly tested and up and running and on blockchain. So all of these things are critical parts of the basically country, and we have them, and we are still finishing the legal framework, which of course needs to be as little as possible, but also compatible with the existing world, at least a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the ICO. I don't know much about it myself, so what are your plans with that?
Well, we've got already our merit system. Anybody who contributes to Liberland basically gets merits. If you accumulate certain number of merits, you get the citizenship. And we are also preparing our e-residency program, but it will work for everybody the same. Basically, if you decide to pay taxes, then you become shareholder. So
the taxes are essentially voluntary, right?
The taxes are voluntary.
Right.
So if you're not paying them, that's fine. You will just simply not have shares, and you will not have dividends from Liberland's operation. And what we plan to do, and now I think it's very clear that it's going to be like this, that Liberland will be able only to basically ICO 10% of the initial holdings of merits. So what it will do, that every single year we will lose 10% of the initial capital that we will have, but we expect the value of these tokens to appreciate. That should give us an endless source of revenue till the eternity. Well, the majority shareholder basically will lose its majority part, and basically the governance of Liberland will become more distributed, and that I think is a healthy sign. But a part of that, I think it's a very smart way how to tokenize the country and how to make sure that there is a long-term value in those tokens.
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing not only to have a very anarcho-capitalist based country, but to have it also be doing an initial coin offering with a cryptocurrency. It's like, it's all really happening, you know, like you couldn't imagine this stuff even 10 years ago. So it's, you know, just amazing for me to see, and I'm so glad to see the progress, and continue to see the progress is amazing. And a lot of people out there do have questions about, I get this all the time,
all right.
How do I become a citizen of Liberland? And I know you had, how many people apply for it?
We've got now almost 500,000. We're just missing couple thousands to 500,000. I just came back from Luxembourg. We're basically the same size nation as Luxembourgers, which is pretty exciting, right?
Wow, that's great. Yeah, if you accept them all as citizens.
You know, that also means we have to look for more territories. There is no way we can fit them all in Liberland. So I think this activity is very legitimate, and I was excited that you know, the visit in Somaliland went so well. I was the first president ever to visit Somaliland, and they were so excited about it. They said, you know, we've got so little land, we've got so much, why don't we do something about it? So we're flying back in 2 months from now. We will have a nice delegation. One of our supporters has a jet, so we can take that from Europe. We will make sure that we can help them as much as possible in their development of their technologies for the governance. And we are also looking in other places. Now we've got a nice place in Central America, so we will have Liberland on 3 continents pretty soon, and that's going to be an exciting part of that ICO that we are preparing.
Wow, so Liberland's almost an empire already. Let's talk about the passport. You got one sitting there. Why don't you just show it so we could show it to people? So this is the Liberland passport. This is Vit's passport. I'm waiting to get mine. I believe it is
I'm chasing you actually around the globe with it in my backpack, but now I don't have it.
And you can show whatever you'd like to the camera.
Well,
you showed it to this camera.
The cool thing about traveling on it now is that it's accepted in a number of countries in Africa. This is, for example, a visa from Kenya. This is the visa to Somaliland, and that, of course, it's not meant for traveling, but amazingly enough, it is accepted for traveling as well in a number of countries. It's mainly meant for our diplomats to be able to legitimize themselves, so nobody acts as a Liberland diplomat if they don't have a valid document to do that. And it's one of the signs of a country. We actually, our Liberland press company just started to operate. We are offering now this, we are making an offer to other 3 countries that have similar status, basically talking, for example, with Kurdistan about their passports, which is pretty exciting time since they're getting their independence pretty soon as well.
Yeah, you brought up that Liberland is, if there was 500,000 citizens, it'd be too much for the land. How big is the actual land area?
It's 7 square kilometers, so it's 3 times the size of the Monaco. Monaco is right behind us.
Okay. What's the population of Monaco, do you know?
We've got some 36,000 people living there, so let's say 100,000 would be a healthy population size. Yeah. But we've got 5 times more than that, right? Yeah. So it would be a little bit crowded. I mean, it's possible. You know, if the things become very bad around the world, we will have to fit. We'll have to fit all the people in one place.
All 100-story skyscrapers.
But let's rather get it more free and let's get more territories for Liberland globally.
Yeah, absolutely. So to finish off what I was bringing up, a lot of people ask, how do I become a citizen? So right now there's about 500,000 people waiting. Very few people have actually sort of been accepted as citizens so far. And as you pointed out, if you do things for the country, and that could be helping out with, tell us what people
diplomacy,
can do.
Of course, any kind of diplomatic contact necessary, any kind of media coverage, that's good always. Any kind of, for example, physical help on the spot. Right now, we've got, as I told you, 7 boats around in the area, and they also need a little bit of maintenance. So if you're thinking about summer holidays or spring holidays next year, or maybe if you want to come and check out the sauna, you basically also get rewarded for coming there and helping a little bit. The settlement is important part, making sure that locals are happy with our presence, basically promoting presence of Liberlanders. And I can tell you, everybody around Liberland knows where is Liberland and what we are doing. But it is an important part of it. And of course, finance also helps. So it's, I think, roughly 1 Bitcoin if you're not caring about, helping on spot. You can simply buy enough merits that will give you this shareholding say in Liberland, and you will also become citizen fairly fast.
Okay, so there you go. You got your answer. You can become a citizen right now by helping out on the ground, or by donating to the cause. 1 Bitcoin, so about $4,000, $5,000 at the moment. So that's the big question that a lot of people were asking. So I assume if anyone wants to do those sort of things, they would contact you through the website. Is that correct?
Of course. It's very easy to sign up. It takes like 3 minutes. You can only fill the fields that you are feeling comfortable with, but the fact that we are collecting these data really helps us to utilize the power that is out there, and it's enormous. Now we've got some 140,000 properly filled up applications, and we actually, whenever I'm traveling somewhere like here in Monaco, we're always getting amazing contacts of people that can push things forward. So feel free to fill in anything that you want that is important for you, and I'm looking forward to have you on board.
That's fantastic. I did see a few comments on our last interview, which we did a few months ago. I forget where we were when we did that.
Well, that was in Anarchapulco. That was.
Was it in Anarchapulco?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was longer than I thought. I thought it was just a few months ago. Time flies, especially with all the stuff that we're doing. But I do remember a lot of people saying that in the comments they'd like to just go there and sort of start settling it. How much, for example, like you seriously could see thousands of people wanting to go there right away. Would that be something you'd want, or you want?
Well, I think it's a time to be more present there. As I told you, we've had people sleeping in Liberland without any issues just the day ago. So now one of the nice ways to go there is to take canoe and go down the Danube River with your tent. You can camp there, and it has been successfully done a number of times. Or you can come to Apatin, into our harbor in Serbia, where we've got all these boats, and basically you can get one of them and stay in Liberland. We are taking the big boat again to be parked right next to Liberland. That's Liberty, which has 12 beds. So you can stay there and making sure that people are feeling comfortable. And of course, if anybody is into fixing stuff or building stuff, especially boats, that's very welcome, because we've got the renovation going on for the next season.
That sounds great. So for anyone interested in that, check that out. I know you have a sort of a embassy in Serbia that's very nice in Belgrade. I'll be going there in the next couple of days. So people, if you want, you can come out, check out that whole area. I met a number of people in Belgrade, or Belgrade, however you want to pronounce it, that seem to be fairly involved with Liberland. Is that a sort of a good sort of jumping off spot for people if they want to just
Of course. Belgrade is a good place. We will officially open our representative office. We will also put a Bitcoin machine there. I think in like 3 weeks from now. I hope I'll find a time for that, and that will be a spot for Liberlanders to meet and basically go to Liberland.
That's fantastic. So check it out. Check it out. The website, liberland.org, I believe. I didn't mention about the company formation. That's
Liberland.ltd.
Okay. And that actually, I said on our last interview, I wanted to set one up. I just haven't even gotten around to it yet. But you mentioned that some people have started setting them up and even gotten bank accounts for it. That's fantastic. So you've been moving ahead at full speed. It's really great. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you've been up to?
I think, thank you very much, Jeff, for your long-standing support. The people that, of course, are here because of your network are the best guys that are coming to Liberland, and it's always enjoyable to meet them. And, thanks again, and hope to see you in Liberland fairly soon again.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll probably see you again next year at Anarchapulco as well. So that'll be next February. People like President Vit will be there, and so many other amazing people. So check out Anarchapulco, which is February 15th to 18th. Check out all the Liberland stuff. Any way you can to support it this is a real amazing opportunity for people who really believe in liberty to try to get this really going on off the ground. And I think for people out there that are wondering how it might progress, I think to me, if you can just continue to grow this, continue to make it into what is sort of a recognized country by most people, and it had very libertarian values on the ground, that can be our sort of test case to show people, because that's the big question a lot of people have. What would happen in a really very libertarian sort of a place? Would it be crazy and all this sort of stuff? Well, we never really had the opportunity, at least in modern times, to show people. So this could be the very first one. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I just would like to say that, if you have any kind of questions, don't worry, contact me directly. If you have any kind of issues with anything, contact me directly. It's president@liberland.org. So that's a good way to keep in touch.
Very accessible, the president of Liberland. And so if you like this video, please like, subscribe, share down below, and we'll hope to see Vit again soon, either in Belgrade or in Anarchapulco or somewhere along the way. Actually, you might be inviting me to go along to Somaliland.
That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. I am a diplomat, an ambassador for Liberland, and a very proud one. I wear my for people who don't know, this is what the pin I wear all the time on my jacket is. I'm a citizen of numerous countries, but Liberland is where my heart is. So
thank you very much.
If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and that's it for Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
In a world where Antifa riots in the city streets, cops rage out of control, and the leader of the free world is a fat-ass casino owner, one event stands alone to make anarchy great again.
I actually love humanity. That is why I'm an anarchist.
Backwards in the building like we the ceiling, we illin'. No matter who find it appealing, I'm here and I got a feeling that we'll be dealing a lot of pain with the penicillin get drilled in your head. That we are monsters, and yeah, we come from the slums, and for months we've been pumped, but for once I am now comfortable. I want to grow, I want some more success, and I want to know that greatness can't be rushed, can't be less, so face the bus. Feel free to hate on us, we lace them up. Dudes, we done paid them up. Keep snakes away from us and safe from us, you might wanna be. Remember when clowns used to make fun of me, and now they wanna be me. See me and they run at me, I'm gonna be the greatest, yeah I wanna be, but I am not the one to be the fakest for the sake of being played. I'm here, like I never left, said to hell. Nah, cause I can't just fail, so just prepare your ears, it'll get for real. Okay, from here, we will never take the cell, it's grind time. My mind and my thoughts, my highs and my faults, my wins and
fuck the banks, fuck drone strikes, fuck tanks, fuck hunger, fuck war, fuck ignoring of the poor, fuck the left, fuck the right, fuck the government. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.